I did 12 GCSEs. How difficult can doing 5 A levels be? Stupidest thing I ever thought. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I did to get 5 A stars in my A levels. So I got 4 A stars in my A levels and then an A star in my APQ. I'm just going to be talking about the general things that I did to organise my time, how I studied, and not be too subject specific because obviously there are so many different A levels. These are going to be tips that you can take away from this video and apply to any A level. So for a little bit of context, I went to a state comprehensive as well. I never had any tutors, I never had additional support from sixth form. I only really had the lessons and then whatever revision sessions were kind of put on nearer to the time of exams. So I know a thing or two about self-studying. However, if you do feel like you need that extra additional support and you want to look for a tutor, consider checking out my website, Taylor's Tailored Tutoring. The idea of the business is essentially to match you up with a tutor for either GCSE or A level who is studying what you want to study at your dream university. Our tutors are from the UK's top universities, so they've got those very top grades in their GCSEs and A levels. They know how to write a personal statement, apply for universities. They know all the additional steps to your university application rather than just getting the top grades. Though, that being said, you do still need the top grades, so our tutors can help you attain those grades, help you write a really good application for university, and just provide some guidance and support throughout the course of your studies. So without further ado, 4 A levels and an EPQ. I actually started off doing 5 A levels and EPQ, but that was seriously too much. Firstly, routine. Routine from the start of year 12. This doesn't necessarily just have to be academic. Part of my routine in year 12 actually included going to work. So I started my A levels in 2020 and I was a key worker in the pandemic. So 4 nights a week I was going to work at 7 p.m. and working until midnight. This was a part of my routine though. If you have like a set time of the day you're doing specific things, a set time you're studying, a set time you're exercising, a set time you're going to sleep, going to work, seeing family, seeing friends, it makes it much easier to stick to. Planning is so important. Consistency, planning and routine, those are the big three. My dad always says, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. That is so correct. Also, being in routine not only helps get you into the swing of revising from day one, it sort of tricks your brain into normalising studying because it's becoming a part of your routine. Every time you're studying, you're not like, oh, I've done so much today, because you're naturally doing 2 or 3 hours of extra revision every day. And then consistency, sticking to it. Just like going to the gym, if you go to the gym for 5 hours a day for a week straight, it's not going to have the same impact as if you go to the gym for 1 hour a day for a month. It's the same concept when you're learning things, when you're revising. Spread it out, do less on each day, and balance it with other things. Have that work-life balance, learn how to create it from the start of year 12. So yes, as I say, you do need to be doing work outside the classroom from the very beginning. Revising things, going over topics you're not currently covering in the class, learning how to answer exam questions is such a huge fundamental part of the majority of A levels. Crack the mark scheme. In a lot of A levels, you're kind of solid. Do bear in mind that a lot of A levels require a very in-depth conceptual understanding to really hit those A star marks. You need to balance understanding the content, knowing how to answer the exam questions, knowing the specification like the back of your hand, and additionally knowing how to revise for each subject, what works for you for each subject. Consistency, so doing a extra couple of tasks per day. I would never be an advocate of like, I need to revise maths for an hour. It would be, I am revising maths after college, before work. I am going to do this specific task. Don't have time-sensitive goals, have achievable, attainable goals. Like, I will finish this past paper. That is a clear, actionable step. Revise maths for an hour and no plan of what you're doing. That is not a clear, actionable step. However, saying this, you need to make your clear, actionable steps achievable. If I were to say I'm going to revise the entirety A-level economics paper 1, all of the content tonight, that is ridiculous. That is not an achievable action. You need to make sure, okay, I'm doing a past paper, it'll take me an hour and a half. If I say I'm going to do 4 past papers, you're just not going to do it. That in itself will make you feel demotivated. That will make you not want to do any more studying. Be realistic, set realistic goals, and then when you have achieved your goals, reward yourself. Don't be like, oh, it's not enough quite yet, I need to do this, I need to do this. If you're setting these goals from the start of year 12 and you know that you can get everything done, it's fine. Like after I do a practice paper or my the revision that I'd set out to do on that day, I would just relax after. I'd go out with my friends, I'd play sport, I'd go to work, I'd do whatever I wanted. Having that end point specified is so important. Bear in mind, in your A-levels, you are taking things into your own hands completely. There are no teachers that are chasing you. Do your homework, to do this extra revision. But in order to get those top grades, you need to do this additional work. Your teachers may be chasing you to do your homework, depends what kind of college you go to, but I went to a college, not a sixth form, so there was nobody like, do your homework. What are they going to do? Put me in detention? No one is going to do anything if you don't do your work. And that is something you need to learn. You need to learn self-discipline rather than discipline from the school, from your sixth form, from your college. Now we've gotten that out of the way, revising for your end of topic tests and mocks like the real exam. So this is incredibly important to A-level. It's important to GCSE, but it's really important to A-level because each subject is so content dense. You need to know how to revise. You need to know how to revise. You need to learn how to revise what works for you for each subject. How do you incorporate active revision strategies? How do you make sure you can do it when the exams come around? By properly revising for all of your end of topic tests and all of your mocks, you will learn how to revise. You'll learn how to create a revision timetable, how to structure your time, how to know when to stop, how to know when's enough, how to know how to answer practice questions. Fundamentally the most important thing to do throughout the course of your A-levels. So before Christmas in year 12, in your first year of A-levels, probably have an end of topic test. If you revise for it properly, really dedicate yourself to it. Cover everything you've learned, incorporate tactical revision strategies, cover everything that's going to be on the test, and then you do the test. You'll A, probably get a good grade, B, have learned how to revise, C, have actually revised the content that will help you in the future, and D, properly revising everything, you can identify gaps in your knowledge and understanding. If you've properly revised everything, you can see from your results, from when you get your test back, what you got wrong, and then you can identify the gaps in your knowledge that are due to a fundamental misunderstanding or I don't know how to answer this kind of question, rather than just, I forgot it. I forgot it because I didn't revise it. You identifying your actual weak areas rather than the weak areas that are created just because you decided not to revise for the test. This is the first time in your life that you are going to have free periods. You do need to use them. And as much as you hate to hear me say that, hear me out, because I'm not going to say, I'll just revise in all your free periods, use them, don't do anything else. No, not at all. You need to have a work-life balance, but you do need to use your free time. So my rule of thumb was basically revise in college like a school day. When I was at school doing my GCSEs, the day would be from 9 till 3. My college day was 8:30 till 4:30 or something like that. It was come in at 8:30, leave at 4:30, no matter what lessons I had. If I had one lesson that finished at 10:30, the rest of the day would be revision. The rest of the day would be spent studying, doing my homework, revising, whatever it may be. Having that rigidity though, incorporating it into my routine, it really, really helped, because when you're going home from college at 12:30 in the day, it's so easy to waste your time. Also, you're not doing anything. What is going on at 1 o'clock on a random Tuesday? You could literally just go to sleep, you could have a nap, but you need to use your time properly. Whether that be going home to revise or whether staying at sixth form revising, do it. Make sure you make it a part of your routine. Then again, in that, when I was going to sixth form and I was revising for a few hours a day, I was making sure that I was also using my free periods to make friends, to see my friends, to, socialise. Nobody talks about the work-life balance you need to create when you're doing your A-levels, because at school, let's be realistic, when you're in year 9, year 10, you are messing about for most of your lessons. You can still get away with it. You can't do that at A-level. You can't mess about in your A-level lessons. Literally will not learn the content, and you literally won't have anything to revise from. So you need to be fully focused in your lessons, and you won't really have the chance to, chat with your friends and do stuff like that. You need to be locked in when you're in an A-level lesson. Yeah, find that balance. I'm not going to say use every free period, do loads of revision, blah, blah, blah. No, use the time to spend with your friends, but make sure you aren't just wasting all of your free periods with your friends. If you decide that you want all of your time at sixth form to be socialising, then you need to study when you go home. If you decide you want all of your sixth form time to be revising, then you need to socialise when you go home. You need a work-life balance. You also need to exercise, see your family, do things you enjoy, hobbies, time alone. Finding that balance is one of the things that people really struggle with at A-level. They really struggle with it at a degree. Controversial, but use your mornings. So I mentioned the whole going into sixth form early. Basically, in my first year, as I mentioned, I was a key worker in the pandemic and I was working late. What I would do, I would go into college early. Also, that meant that I could get a lift from my mum when she was going to work. So I'd arrive at sixth form at like 7:30 normally, and I'd do an hour of revision before my lessons. I found this really helpful. I found that because there was no one in the library, I could just be on my own and focus, and having that extra hour that I would have otherwise just spent in bed scrolling on my phone, it seriously helped me improve. I think that's what allowed me to be so successful. Making use of your little minutes, time that you would have otherwise spent scrolling on your phone, doing something completely unproductive. Fantastic example of this, use your bus time. A lot of people end up getting the bus to sixth form. Like, I don't know, however you get there, if you have a period of time you're normally just like sat in a vehicle on your phone, use that to do flashcards. The biggest like life hack I did it at GCSE as well. So using those 15 minutes you might spend on the bus, 20 minutes you spend on the bus, do flashcards. I would recommend do like Quizlet or Anki or some online flashcard. You don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to get my flashcards out of my bag for 10 minutes. If you're on your phone anyway, you can, instead of clicking on the Snapchat app, you click on the Quizlet app. And then these marginal gains seriously add up. As I was saying about consistency, if you're consistently doing this every single day, that is going to have a huge impact. It's all about marginal gains. Specification, examiner's report, and mark scheme. Use these to your advantage. So if you don't know, you need to know what exam board you're on for each subject. They all teach such vastly different things at A-level, award marks in different ways, have different assessment objectives. Literally, the way in which you answer the questions is different. The entire exam is different. You need to know what exam board you're on. And really think about it. What is a mark scheme? A mark scheme is given to examiners when past students have sat the exam. Examiners are reading this mark scheme and thinking, oh, well, I'll award a mark there, because it's telling them where to award marks. If you do enough practice paper questions and enough practice papers, you will get into the mindset of an examiner if you're marking them yourself. Pick up on key phrases, particularly important in the sciences, but then again, in other subjects as well. You learn how to think like an examiner and know where to award marks. I would say the mark schemes, the key phrases, the key, like, the way in which they want questions set out, very important in sciences, maths, really STEM subjects. But then the essay-based subjects, I found the examiner's report incredibly helpful. Of course, the mark schemes and the examiner's reports are really helpful for both. In the examiner's report, you are given an example of a student's essay that has been awarded 4 marks, one that has been awarded half marks, and why. You get to learn when you're marking your past paper questions from your own mistakes, and then you learn from other people's mistakes as well. You start picking out phrases, picking out key terminology, picking out where examiners are awarding marks. If you fundamentally understand this, then you can implement it in your own past papers, and this will help you hit those top marks. There is a reason I got over 90% in all of my A-level exams. Some of them nearly 100%. In fact, I got 100% in one of my economics papers. There is a reason for that, because I was using these examiners' reports to revise from. I got into the mindset of an examiner. And then revision strategies. Utilise active recall. If you didn't do it at GCSE, start doing it now. If you've been on Study Talk, StudyTube, StudyGram, you will have seen the term active recall being thrown around. What is it? Instead of consuming, you are producing in your revision. And this really works because it solidifies things in your mind and gets things into your long-term memory. Additionally, it helps you identify gaps in your knowledge. So an example is a brain dump or a blurt. What this is you write everything you know about one topic or one specification point. I would recommend you do that. One specification point on a piece of paper. It needs to be specific as well. It can't just be, oh, write everything you know about theme 4 A-level economics. What is the point in that? It's going to take you hours. It needs to be clear, specific, and actionable within a short time frame. So I might say, I will write everything I know about Monopoly. Specific, can do it in 20 minutes. And then once you've written everything you know, or you think you know, you get your notes, you get the textbook, or you get an online resource, you correct what you got wrong, you fill in the gaps. So, oh, I forgot what the profit maximization point was, or something like that. Or you correct what you got wrong. Then by doing this, you see where the gaps in your knowledge lie. If it was something you forgot, you see if you fundamentally misunderstood the topic. And then through doing this, you have a list of actionable things that you need to do next. If I didn't understand something, I need to go and ask my teacher. I need to go and watch a YouTube video on it. I need to go back through my notes. I need to gain this conceptual understanding, and I need to understand it. So you have revised by getting this stuff out, by producing, and then you're going to consume. That is the next step, consuming the information, taking the information in. By adding the additional step to actively recall things from your mind, this is making your revision 10 times more effective. and just more time efficient, because otherwise you would be consuming things that you already just know. Then what is the point of that? You're making yourself unnecessary work, especially if it's a very, very simple thing. Why would I watch a 20-minute YouTube video at the end of second year A-level econ on supply and demand? Sure, it's on the specification, but I know it. I've been doing it for 2 years. I've been revising it for 2 years. I'm not dedicating that 20 minutes that I should have been dedicating to learning about the kink demand curve of an oligopoly. Other active recall strategies include flashcards. I would say these are way more effective for some subjects than others, especially when you have to remember key definitions and facts. With your flashcards, try and make sure you're not having loads of information on it. Try and have it a question and an answer, or a question and a diagram, or something like that, a very small piece of information, because there's nothing worse than having flashcards that are just like another set of notes. And as I was saying, genuinely, practice papers, do them all. Do every single one. If it's a subject like maths or science, consider doing them from other exam boards. Any subject that's not essay based, I would say, because obviously the marks are rewarded in a different way in like AQA, A-level economics, and EdXL, A-level economics. But in AQA, A-level maths, EdXL A-level maths, a question on differentiation, there is only so many ways you can answer that and they can award the marks. Consider doing them from other exam boards, but also consider that they may have different topics, so just double check that the topic you're doing, if you look at a question like, I don't understand it, consider it's probably not on your specification. So be careful with doing that, but really do rinse all of the past papers from your exam board at least, and if you run out, you'll have extra questions. There's one thing you take away from this video, it's accountability. There is nobody chasing you to do your work, and you will hear it said, but for that reason, you don't only just need to do your work, you need to develop a routine for yourself, you need to hold yourself accountable. Consistency is what creates success. Also planning, to make sure that you've revised everything by the time your exam comes around, everything on that specification, and you need to know how to answer the questions. Plan what you're going to do by day, by month, however, whatever time interval suits you. Take things into your own hands, and if you do all of these things, if you create a routine for yourself, I genuinely found my A-levels incredibly enjoyable. So many people hate them. Sure, of course they were hard, but because I had this routine and I knew what I was doing, I knew how to revise, I knew how to get the top grades, I really enjoyed it because I was studying things that I was interested in. Actually, if there's one thing that you take away from this video, it is to ask why. Each A-level tests your conceptual understanding, which is how you get the top marks. Not enough to just remember things. You need to truly understand why things happen. If you do that, if you understand everything thoroughly, which is not only enjoyable, that's why I really liked A-levels. I really found my A-levels interesting and I wanted to understand why things are happening. That's why I took them. You know how to revise and manage your time. You will come out of A-levels really enjoying it. You will find your passion. You'll find what you want to study at university, or maybe to do a degree apprenticeship, or whatever you do after your A-levels. I very much hope this video was helpful, and if so, then don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what kind of study tips that you want to see next time. Love you guys. Bye bye.